What's good, fam? You ever wake up, hop on the timeline, and just feel like the whole rap game done turned upside down overnight? You look around and see dudes like Bas, the #1 lieutenant in Dreamville, all of a sudden jumping out the window defending Drake like his name K-Dot. Straight up, it's feeling like the simulation tweaked out. We got heavyweights who should be standing up for real bars and authenticity, sliding over the cape for the same guy who's been accused of ghostwriting and lawsuits more times than he dropped classics. But today, I'm giving you the side nobody else want to say out loud. That new raw angle on why Dreamville riding so hard for Drake got folks twisted up, and why this moment says way more about the state of hip-hop than just some rapper internet banter. For real, this not just about some rap beef or who got the hottest verse. That's old news. This deeper is about who's really holding down the culture and who's just trying to protect their own interests, even if it means disrespecting every OG that built hip-hop brick by brick. Like, I swear, when I seen the way Bas hopped up under Ebro's comment, ready to go to war, calling Drake the most, if not the most inclusive artist our culture ever put forth, talking about pushing countless rappers to the forefront, I had to double take. My jaw hit the floor. Drake getting called the hip-hop kingpin for helping smaller artists? Nah, that ain't the full story, and you know it. There's a lot more to this, and today, I'm busting it wide open. Aight, check it. So, the whole back and forth started when Ebro Darden, yeah, that Ebro, the one that always stirring the pot, he gets on socials and throws some heavy shade at Drake, basically calling him out and claiming he don't really rep hip-hop the way real MCs do. He's saying Drake ain't from the soil, that he more of a corporate mascot than somebody out here risking it all for the culture. You could feel that one. Old heads and new schoolers both been side-eyeing Drake for a minute. Nas, Hov, Andre 3000. None of them ever had this kind of he not real enough energy hanging over their legacy. And here come Bas out of nowhere. He wasn't tagged, wasn't involved, just popped up all loud like, nah, Ebro, bump all that. My man typed the whole essay. Drake is among the most, if not the most, inclusive of artists our culture has put forth. Pushed countless rappers to the forefront, dancehall artists, Afrobeats artists, R&B, reggaeton. Older artists persisted since the battle. And I'm sitting there like, bro, you serious right now? That's how you defend hip-hop? By saying Drake the king of inclusivity? Stop it. But let me break this down. From a distance, that argument sound valid. Drake's been on remixes with damn near everybody. He jump on a track with Migos, then you might catch him chilling with WizKid, then next week he in the UK with Skepta, then back in Canada with Party Next Door. It's like everywhere you look is a Drake feature trying to blend in. But real talk, that don't make him the dude bringing new artists up out the trenches. If we being honest, Drake got a long history of collaborating with whoever buzzing next. But is he really putting them on or just jacking they wave to keep himself relevant? That's what you gotta ask. Now Dreamville, J. Cole, Bas, that whole squad, they got history being for the culture, right? Cole even came out the mouth on Middle Child and been preaching about the bridge between generations. But ever since this Drake-Kendrick beef been heating up, Dreamville looking a little too cozy with Aubrey. And yo, I get it, Cole and Drake always been tight. And yeah, J. Cole even dropped 7-minute drill and took shots at Kendrick Lamar, and then turned around, did a wild 180 and apologized. Called it the lamest shish I did in my life. That already got folks questioning Dreamville's principles. Like how you go from being top tier lyricist, supposed to be standing for hip hop purity, to apologizing for being in the mix when things too hot. Where that backbone at, bro? But here's the thing, this whole saga with Bas running to Drake's defense, not just some casual fan talk. It looked like calculated loyalty. Dreamville really putting their chips on Drake instead of double down on their own. That got me, and honestly, a whole lot of real rap fans wondering where they head at. Why take that stance at this exact moment? Especially when hip-hop is in the middle of one of its realest shakeups in decades, thanks to that Kendrick Lamar pressure. And look, let's talk impact. Has Drake really changed the game? You could argue yes, he been everywhere, touched every genre for real. But does that mean he's that dude lifting others up, or just one more pop star milking the next fresh trend to keep his albums from flopping? Facts is, when Drake hops on your song, that thing probably gonna explode. But 9 times out of 10, you was already moving up on your own. Migos was already hot before Versace. Block Boy JB had Look Alive buzz in Memphis before Aubrey swooped in. Central C running Europe before Drake started dropping UK patois. These was all W's Drake rode, never something he genuinely built up from nothing. Compare that to someone like Kendrick. Dude been in his lane for real. Not Like Us ain't just a diss, it's a statement. Kendrick's whole image is about authenticity, writing his own bars, building up young, unproven talent like Baby Keem. When Kendrick put somebody on, they came out the shadows. You see J.I.D., he's an example of that hunger, trying to link with Kendrick, never scared to chase greatness by his own hand. But this Dreamville, Drake move feel like the safest play, back in industry power instead of riding for the actual culture. What does it say about the state of hip hop when Dreamville, the ones supposed to be keeping it real, holding down for guys like Pac, Nas, Mos Def, now turning around and calling Drake the greatest writer of a generation? Yo, that's laughable. No cap. Greatest writer? You lying to yourself. That's like putting Michael Jordan and some dude who only played on 2K in the same convo. Drake's got plenty of hits, but when you talk about pen game, Cole, Kendrick, Joey Bada Dollar Dollar, Earl Sweatshirt, Vince Staples, these is the real architects of rap poetry. Drake, he's notorious for ghostwriters. We still remember when Quentin Miller got exposed, and you gonna act like that never happened? That's a huge L for anybody trying to defend his pen. But if you read between the lines, Bas speaking for more than himself. It's a Dreamville statement, period. Nobody in the crew gonna make that kind of move unless Cole Loki okayed it. They might try to act like it's just Bas' personal opinion, but come on, y'all saw how locked in these two is? If Bas said it, it carried Dreamville's weight, especially with Cole so busy trying to be Switzerland in the Drake x Kendrick beef, only to end up looking like he can't choose a side. But let's be real, it feel like as soon as the smoke got too thick, Dreamville trying to move to the safe zone, which just happens to be wherever Drake's sitting. No risk, no controversy, just parades and industry connections. Now, Bas acting like we supposed to ignore a whole decade of wild stuff. Remember, Drake ain't just fighting Kendrick with bars. He out here throwing lawsuits, trying to weaponize the legal system against rivals, straight geeking out. That ain't hip hop. That's a corporate play. It's like trying to win a street ball game by calling the refs on every hard foul. Not a W, I promise you. So for Dreamville to back him now, it's a massive signal that they done gave up on the fundamentals in favor of politics and pockets. Thing is, you got a bunch of kids watching these moves, thinking this industry clout is what matters, instead of craft real bars and speaking your truth. See, you also got to pay attention to all the noise Dreamville been making recently about supporting the culture. You ever notice? It's the same folks who love to talk about realness, but the second money or clout on the table, suddenly the lines get blurry. Like how you go from bigging up J. Cole and his grind to now riding with Drake, who be jumping genres like it's musical chairs. All he do is see who's popping next and then remix their wave. It's opportunistic, and at some point you gotta call it what it is. Man, it really hit me the way Bas broke it down, saying Toronto culture and New York culture damn near the same. I'm sorry, but stop the cap. That's just disrespectful to the foundation of hip hop. New York is where this all started. You can't rewrite history just because it fit the PR narrative. If Toronto was really the new New York, we'd see a whole army of classic MCs coming out the six and running the globe. But be real, that's not the case. Nobody got Drake's trajectory, and even then, most artists from his scene gotta leave the country to pop off worldwide. The city's dope, but let's not act like it's Brooklyn, Queens, or the Bronx. Yo, before I go any deeper, which we definitely about to, I need y'all to lock in. If you rocking with the content so far, and you tired of the mainstream circus, tired of the industry cap, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share your thoughts down below. Where do y'all stand on this Dreamville x Drake alliance? Do you believe these moves still respect the game, or is it just another symptom of why the whole culture looks so watered down lately? I read everything, so don't hold back. Let's get the real dialogue going. Alright, let's jump back in, cause this saga only gets crazier from here. So let's talk about how Bas didn't just say Drake inclusive. He doubled down and called him arguably the greatest writer of a generation. Bro, are you for real? That's not even just wild. That's like whatever comes after wild. If you really out here saying that in public, knowing what we know about the Quentin Miller situation, the reference tracks, all the chats in the studio, then either you don't know enough about the game you in, or you just playing politics to the fullest. And the wildest part, that ain't even the end. Bas out here low-key disrespecting his own label leader, J. Cole, by putting Aubrey on a higher level for writing. Cole don't need no ghostwriters. Ain't no reference tracks for 2014 Forest Hills Drive. That's blood, sweat, and real pen on them pages. But I gotta say, when you take a look at Dreamville's whole attitude right now, you see a pattern. It's not just pro-Drake, it's anti-Kendrick too. They trying to mask it saying, oh, it ain't like that, we just respect Drake. Nah, JID the only one from Dreamville who's publicly showing respect for Kendrick, even saying he trying to work with him. Everybody else in that camp moving funny. They not just neutral, they actively lifting up Drake, who, let's keep it real, done more to water down lyricism and authenticity than anybody since hip-hop hit the pop charts in the 10s. And let's get to the real core of why this all matter. When artists like Bas, and by extension Dreamville, give props to Drake for stuff like putting people on or being the greatest pen, they act like the stuff Kendrick did with the next generation didn't happen. Because if you go song for song and see who really built up raw talent, Kendrick got that record. Easy. Look at Baby Keem blowing up with Family Ties, and even AZ Chat getting real shine after a feature. Aubrey only collab with you, if your numbers moving and some marketing guy told them the research looked good. The point blank is, we're in a moment where the top dudes, the so-called gatekeepers, would rather support mid that sells than real artistry that challenges the culture. Dreamville had the choice to make themselves the voice of the next golden age, to stand where folks like Nas, Andre 3000, and Lauryn Hill stood. Instead, they trying to modernize hip-hop by just riding with whoever sits at the top of Spotify or gets the most placements. And that's why it feels so disappointing. Stick around though, because the way Dreamville been moving lately and the way this whole Drake situation gonna play out, trust me, it's about to get even messier. And what's coming next will leave y'all shook. But look, I ain't finished. We gotta dig into why this even got the streets so pressed. This ain't just about one viral comment, it's about the whole damn landscape of rap. Dreamville's supposed to be a safe haven for lyricists, the ones who care about bars first, ego, and charts last. Yet here they are, frontlining a guy who, let's be honest, been getting exposed left and right for letting other folks do his homework for him. You don't gotta be deep in the culture to know the Quentin Miller situation ain't go away, no matter how much OVO trying to sweep it under the rug. That stain never faded. Dreamville talking about inclusion, about we love everybody, but who's actually benefiting? Cause it sure ain't the artists out the mud, the hungry ones still waiting for a cosign that means something. When Drake collabs, he picks up whatever sound is next up and makes it his. Sometimes it's Afro beats, sometimes it's grime. Next week, who knows? And what we see every time is the waves start to die out when he leaves it alone. It's never about truly lifting the next man up. It's about making sure Aubrey never stops trending. And the game got so many dudes in higher places acting like that's the new way. Borrow, remix, repeat. Where's the skills at? Where's the courage to build something your own from scratch? The way Bas and Dreamville have moved got this air of defeat, like they know they can't compete with industry machine, so they might as well join up. Instead of raising the standard, instead of calling out corny moves, they want to ride the bandwagon, act like nothing is wrong as long as the money come in. That's why the average fan don't even believe in the real hip-hop argument no more. You watching the so-called leaders run with whoever got radio play, whoever can get them a festival check. It's got me questioning if they ever believed that message they were pushing in the first place. Like Cole used to rap about being the underdog. Let Nas down? Bro, you was crying on tracks about disappointing OGs. Fast forward, you riding for a dude who never sweated about his pen being questioned because the system always protected him, always handed him another W. Why should regular folks even care about bars when the ones at the top don't even respect the process? And don't get me started on how all this impacts new artists looking up. They see this alliance, this waving of the white flag, and they start thinking, oh, to make it, I gotta blend into the algorithm. I gotta chase features instead of perfect my own voice. I gotta get an industry cosign more than I need to master my craft. That's an L for hip hop history, for the pioneers that died poor so this generation could eat off the culture. Think about it. If Bas and Cole was coming up today, would they even get a chance if they wasn't riding Drake's wave? Would the game care about a Forest Hills Drive or a Friday Night Lights if it ain't got a viral remix and some TikTok sound? This is why people so mad, so heated about Dreamville looking real industry right now, because for every blockbuster move Drake and Cole make, it get a little bit harder for the next Kendrick or the next Joey Bada Dollar to break through just off bars and hunger alone. It makes every new artist second guess. Should I chase authenticity like K-Dot or just clone whatever Drake did last year and hope he bite? It's a slow death to everything that made hip-hop a revolution in the first place. And let's be for real, the conversation might sound like it's about Drake, but it's deeper. The second you normalize letting writers be background players, giving all the shine to whoever's running the algorithm game, that's when the genre truly loses its soul. Dreamville could have been the resistance in that fight, the ones to say, nah, we care about legacy, but now they just another chapter in the machine's story. What Bas did was bigger than siding with Drake. It was Dreamville showing everybody where their compass points now. Not to the streets, not to realness, but to whatever gives them the most plausible deniability. Oh, we're just saying he inclusive. Nah, man, you protecting a dude accused of turning one of the rawest genres into a business plan. You low-key telling your own fans, all those that grew up yelling real rap, that it don't matter how you get there as long as you get there. And the stinger, they acting like we ain't watching, like we dumb enough to buy it, like we don't remember when Ghostwriter was a career ender, when you couldn't show your face at a cipher if word got out you ain't write your own bars. Now we dead ass got folks with millions of followers, platinum records, business empires built off somebody else's pen. And if you say otherwise, you just a hater, stuck in the past, refusing to evolve. But if that's evolving, why the new era feeling so lifeless compared to the 90s and 2000s, where the moments that give you chills, the stories coming from a place of pain and struggle, not media training and Spotify deals. Even the argument about inclusivity ain't honest. Kendrick put unknowns on, gave family and underdogs a platform he ain't have to. Drake, he picking collaborators from whoever's already headline material. He not risking his spot for someone with no buzz. And yet, all we hear is, look at Drake putting on for the culture. The culture for who? For labels, for sponsors, for boardrooms. This is why so many cats are sick about seeing Dreamville turn into OVO's biggest hype man. Where the self-respect, where the backbone, it's crazy too, cause Dreamville had a lane. Cole had built something real from nothing. Bas had credibility for putting pen to paper with no shortcuts. And now, all that gets thrown in the closet, traded for the chance to play nice with the new rap overlords. It don't just disrespect Kendrick, it disrespects their whole day one legacy. You can't rewrite that no matter how many sound bites or apology videos you drop. And if we're being honest, this is how eras end. This is how what was golden about a movement gets watered down until nobody cares anymore. We get a steady drip of mediocrity. Dudes who should be aiming for GOAT status are talking about, oh, Drake the greatest writer. Really? The jokes write themselves. The bar used to be, can you out-rap anyone in a room? One mic, no help. Now it's, can you get the best contract? Keep your brand unproblematic. Stay out of beef with the wrong folks. It's performative, it's sanitized, and it's why everything feels so forced. And that's why folks like me gotta speak up, even if it ruffle feathers. If the ones with the most power in the culture ain't willing to push back on this, it fall on us, the real students of the game, to call it out. Give props to who earned it, not just who bought it or borrowed it. Yeah, Drake got bangers and a wild run, but if pen game mattered even half as much as Dreamville used to claim, his lyricist crown wouldn't even be in the conversation. Maybe Dreamville is trying to play it safe. Maybe they hoping one day the industry waves back and helps them stay on top. Or maybe they just tired of fighting for a standard that so many people stopped caring about. But either way, we see you. The real ones notice when the torch gets dropped, and we ain't just gonna nod and smile while folks rewrite history for clout. For anybody out there wondering if authenticity still got a place, if bars still matter, if standing on your word ain't just for show, let me remind you, you set the culture with every choice you make. Even if the industry keeps picking comfort over courage, there's always gonna be an audience hungry for something real. Don't get caught thinking the loudest voice represents the majority. Sometimes it's the quiet ones building in the shadows that end up shifting history. So before you let Dreamville, Bas, Cole, or anybody else tell you what hip-hop's supposed to be, look at their moves, not just their words. Remember what made you fall in love with the sound in the first place. Was it numbers? Was it brand deals? Or was it soul and grit in words you could feel in your chest? That's what we gotta protect, especially when the leaders trade it all for an easy seat at the table. That's my take, front to back. If you made it this far, you a real one. I wanna hear what you thinking. Do you see Dreamville's angle as an ill or a strategy play? Do you think hip hop can bounce back? Or is this just how the game gonna be now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if your favorite artist's pen still matters. And don't forget to subscribe, because I promise we're gonna keep pushing the culture conversation nobody else wanna have. Keep it real, keep it raw, peace.